Hello YouTube and welcome to Groundworks. Today we have a special episode for all of you Warhammer lovers. And by Warhammer I don't mean Warhammer Total War, but tabletop Warhammer. Well, last week I have been on a vacation back in Croatia, so I have stumbled upon this beautiful piece, diorama, that I have built like 16 years ago. And back then I was all into Warhammer, but not really playing because the rules and all that jazz didn't interest me very much, but creating the scenes of battles. And as you can see, when I started collecting and painting the miniatures, I actually initially bought a skeleton regiment, and I figured it was kind of cool and all that jazz, and at some point I have gotten a bunch of bowmen, as you can see, Brettonian bowmen, as well as some Brettonian knights. Now, the figure to your right is, I don't believe it's a Brettonian guy, I believe it's an Empire drummer, but I figured it would fit well a little bit just to raise the atmosphere and the mood. Now, it shows a conflict between two sides. On one side we have Brettonia, and we have the standard bearer as well with the drummer. You have two Brettonian knights, you have standard bearer, drummer, and 5 bowmen, which are facing an oncoming horde of skeletons led by I believe this is a Blood Knight Vampire. I'm not exactly sure. But I figured it would be kind of interesting to show that the battle takes place at near the cemetery where these skeletons have been freshly raised by the aforementioned Blood Knight Vampire. And here you can see all the fine detail that it took place. So, how did I came to paint it? Well, simple. I had first painted the skeleton regiment, not knowing that I will be building the diorama. The same happened with the peasant bowmen. And then at some point I have decided, okay, how do I build this into an interesting scenery? I wanted to create something that will last, rather than just me playing and then having these figurines keeping stuck and being just somewhere in my drawer or something. And in the back you can see even a wood elf figure checking things out. Now these skeletons, as I mentioned, I think it's skeleton warriors from the vampire counts. They are being led by this blood vampire, which I have lovingly painted and I have collected. I do apologize for a little bit shake here and there and camera losing focus, because I have recorded this with my phone, because I didn't plan to record anything while I was on my vacation. But there you go. I thought that you Total War Warhammer fans would be enjoying this, because it's kind of, with the recent release of Brettonia, it would be fun. Now, I don't have any Total War Warhammer content on my channel, but I do play it occasionally. So, yeah, sorry for that, just to make it absolutely clear for all the viewers that are watching here, but you might want to watch some other games that I play, like Kerbal Space Program and Transport Fever or Naval Action or something like that. Okay, right, back to Warhammer. When I was creating this, it started with a design sketch. I wanted something that includes skeleton warriors, and I wanted something that includes bowmen. So a fight near a creek or a river going on top of a bridge seemed like a natural choice. And here you can see a skeleton skull of a guy who was misfortune, probably a thief or some punishment endured. But yeah, I have to say, I didn't start by building this diorama first. I started by building something completely different, which is a small house that you can see in the background. Sorry for some finger action there. And this is a little bit overhead view. You can see the skeleton horde clearly marching towards the village, coming fresh from the graveyard, and then onwards to attack the Brettonian village. everything happening under the watchful eye of the wood elf. What's his role? We might never find out, but I wanted to show you also some of the finer details. And all of this I have built with scraps. Well, apart from the figurines, that is. The chopsticks that you see are basically a small wooden planks that I have manually carved out and painted. The sand I have bought, the pebbles I have collected on the beaches, and the broken roof tiles and the planks underneath are toothpicks. So yes, you can build with scraps and it actually can turn out into something really beautiful. The graves are, and the fence is the styrofoam, and the pikes are toothpicks. So yes, and how I painted the river, it was a few layers of green followed by a few layers of luck, and by luck I mean nail polish. So just I put my hand here for scale comparison so that you can see what's the actual scale. And I wanted the village to be a little bit like traditional, you know, Brettonian village, while the graveyard, I had a couple of tombstones, but I wanted also to create my own, so that's how I actually created another two. So let's examine it from this angle. Here. So once again, sorry for a little bit of shaking. Just remember I'm recording this with my phone. And phone being Xperia Z5, I believe. Yeah, here you can see all the fine details of the model. And the base is actually 2 thick layers of cardboard. Just regular cardboard that you buy with boxes. And if you can see here on the left hand side, you can see hand punching through, skeletons just being raised and rushing out of the graveyard. So you can see some details on them, and I tried to keep everything to scale. This is not, like I said, the first diorama I built. The first one was actually this one, and as you can see, it has some glitches and stuff, but I wanted to test if I can do it. So, as you can see, this is a very small, simple type house with some wooden planks, and here I didn't even bother to carve these planks. So this is the first one I've built. Simple enough and trying to figure out how to do things. Note that this happened like 16 years ago when I was roughly 20, I guess, ish, 22, 23. Here you can see the hand punching through the tombstone, as mentioned, different types of tombs and some even with broken. Then you have some skeletons coming out of a mausoleum, some magical symbols, and these are styrofoam guys, and another face peeking through together with a hand out of the second type of the grave, which I thought would be like cool. It's those small details that add to the immersion of the total fact. Then we have details in terms of skeletons rushing in. Then we have the skeleton shield bearer in the, or standard bearer, I believe it's the correct term, with a face, and we have a wood elf here in the background. So let's see if I can steady it enough to show you the clash between the skeleton warriors and the shiny Brettonian knights on the other side. I just love the color, you know, schemes for Brettonia, this, you know, lively colors and everything. And obviously the standard I have created myself, printed it on my inkjet printer and just stuck it there. Sorry, my English got broke. And yes, that's pretty much it for the detail. I'm gonna give you a couple of overhead shots, few more so that you can actually see the layout. Here you can see the grass a little bit and a little bit more detail in the creek or a river. I mean, here I might have goofed up a little bit, but yeah. I believe this sets for a nice tone. So when you're playing Total War Warhammer, you can also think about these types of battles and everything. Like I said, it wasn't planned and I don't have any Total War Warhammer content on my channel, but I thought this would be a cool post and I thought some of you guys might appreciate it. So let me know if you like. Hit the like button if you like this. If you find some more content that you find interesting, despite the fact that this is not a Total War Warhammer, throw a subscribe and I will maybe see you in maybe some of my future episodes for, well, whichever game I find interesting or some special video like this one. Thank you very much for watching, guys. This is Grumpworks signing off.